it's fun. It makes you feel all the feelings, and I think after this kind of crazy 2 years we've had, it really is the sort of film that you can go and have a good time seeing. I was a little nervous to work with him because I just hoped that I'd be able to bring it, and not let him down.
For the first time, got really hurt working on Matthew Vaughn film, and I certainly learned a thing or two about his way about action, sequences.
Yeah, I want to play her. She's fun. She gets, Jaimin had to work really, really hard with all the fighting, and I just get to come in at the end and say something. That's all I have to do.
Welcome to Pinkvilla, Jaimin and Gemma.
Hi.
So I'm going to start with, how excited are you about this film's release, considering it's been delayed quite a few times, and then the pandemic happened, so finally fans will get to watch it in theaters. How do you feel about that?
Yes,
Yeah.
we're excited. I mean, listen, we've been holding this film for almost 2 years now, way overdue, and no, we're excited for it to do its business, and yeah.
Yeah, me too. I'm excited because there's obviously a fan base that already exists for the people that have loved the Kingsman films, but I'm excited to show it because it's going to surprise people, I think, and it's not what they expect.
How was it working with Rafe Fiennes for both of y'all? What was the experience like?
Well, with Ray Fiennes, obviously the experience was quite, I would say, almost educational. You're in a master class with a great actor. Each line has so riveting, and yeah, you find yourself to be almost like a spectator, but yet, obviously you have to be careful because you're in a scene with him. But other than that, yeah, it's been it was an amazing ride.
Yeah, I mean, same. I grew up watching Rafe Fiennes. I mean, he's really is one of our greatest actors in coming out of the UK, and I'd seen him a lot on stage, and I kind of knew him a little bit before we started shooting. So I was a little nervous to work with him because I just hoped that I'd be able to bring it, and not let him down. But he was great to work with, and he's just, as Jaimin said, it's like a masterclass. You're watching someone work that is just so precise and so nuanced, and I mean the detail that he brought to this role was really exceptional, and because it's not just an action role, there's a lot that he has to do in this. There's a father-son story, and he's a man that's suffering loss of his wife, and he carries this heavy burden all the time, so you really feel that with his character, as well as he does all of these crazy cool action sequences, but the character was so clear, and he worked so hard on that, and so it was a privilege really to work opposite him.
Jaimin, I would like to ask you about the action sequences, and especially the one with Rhys Ifans. How's that shooting like? It looked like it was a dance choreography, honestly.
It was such a headache. It was such a headache shooting that. But in the end, we were very excited and having to overcome some of those challenges in making that particular scene. It was like, yeah, I for the first time got really hurt working on Matthew Vaughn film, and I certainly learned a thing or two about his way about action, sequences. And so, yeah, the next time I will be well prepared and a little more careful approaching some of his, the work with in his film. But it was a great sequence. It was a great, action sequence to film, full of challenges. But it was quite rewarding watching the finished product.
You almost had to have like a chemistry with Rhys for that, because both of you had to it was a back and forth that went like, oh, wow, it looked like a dance.
Yes. It really looked like a dance, and a dance that was sort of orchestrated by Rai's sort of like a character attribute, I would say. He's not really like that in real life, but so it was quite fun to combat a character like that. Yeah.
Gemma, I'd like to ask you about Polly as well. Polly is such a badass character in some ways. Like her, she's got like these quirky lines, and was it that like you fell in love with her character?
I loved it. I mean, I remember when I read the script, I had no idea what to expect, and I just saw, she has some key moments in the film where I just thought, yeah, I want to play her. She's fun. She gets, Jaimin had to work really, really hard with all the fighting, and I just get to come in at the end and say something. That's all I have to do. But I really loved it, and I love playing her. I think, hopefully we'll do, more films, and I'll be able to play her more, because I just adored playing her. She's one of my favorite characters I've played. So, yeah.
That's great. Eventually I'd just like to lastly ask, because it's a prequel film, how different is it to come on board for something that, already has a fan base?
I think
well,
it's
of course
exciting.
we were excited. I mean, having the fan base already there for you, all you got to do is make sure that you keep, sustaining, continuing that, that look and the storyline, obviously, given the fact that it has a little bit depiction of the history of Europe, during the First World War. That in itself, I think it was quite a challenge for Matthew and the writers to, that period was sort of been challenging, because I certainly know nothing about that era, that time.
Yeah, I guess the period aspect of it and the historical aspect is what sets it apart from the original two films. So it's quite different, and I'm excited to, show it to the people that love Kingsman, and hopefully they'll be surprised, but pleasantly surprised. And then for those that haven't seen the Kingsman films, you kind of don't have to have seen them, because this is a prequel, an origin story. So it's sort of, win-win, I think.
All right. Thank you so much for talking to us.
Thank you.